Hey guys, it's T. Today I'm going to show you how to take aesthetic and effective notes on your iPad. As a disclaimer, this isn't based on some scientific method or art theory, but rather this is the method I've used in all of my years of school, and it's what's worked for me. Hopefully it will work for you as well, but you may have to go through some trial and error to find out what really works best for you. Anyways, first off, let's start off with what you need. An iPad. I don't think this is an absolute essential in note-taking, but I'm going to assume you either have one or will purchase one if you clicked on this video. Also, a writing utensil. I suggest not using one of those cheap stylus pens that you can purchase on Amazon. Buying the Apple Pencil was really a game changer, but to each their own. For a study app, I personally used Notability while I was in school, but there are many different note-taking apps that you can use that come highly recommended. Lastly, you need the motivation to study. This is optional and can quickly be replaced with caffeine in a moment's notice. Today, I'm going with the latter. Let's begin. Tip number 1, skim the material prior to starting. I would suggest for anyone and everyone to do at least a very quick skim of the material prior to starting your note-taking. This achieves several things. First of all, it lets you prepare for the monstrosity ahead of you, and also lets you get your expectations in check. Oh, I can finish this chapter in just half an hour, you may think, until you realize it's 90 plus slides or pages. Then you can really get a grip on how much effort and time this is really going to take you. Also, skimming allows you to create a visual outline of ideas. You may notice certain chapters or sections are much longer than others, and it can clue you in on what the important topics are versus the details and side notes that may not be quite as vital to your studying. Tip number 2, create an outline of your study material when possible. So now that you've gotten a visual of what's to come, it's time to create an actual outline of what you need to learn. This helps you focus on what you need to be learning. Often, the chapters or PowerPoints you have will include learning objectives that pretty much complete this step for you, and if so, I highly recommend reading through those and letting them guide your studying. One of the hardest parts of studying is figuring out what you need to know because it's impossible to know everything. Okay, so now that we've started to figure out how to optimize your studying, let's figure out how to make it look good. Tip number 3, create titles using different fonts or sizes. This is an easy way to create depth in your notes so that everything doesn't just blend together. Either you can adjust how you write, or you can keep it consistent and make it a little bit bigger for the titles. It'll make it easier for you to find topics when you go back and review your notes. I personally like to do my main notes in my usual writing size and then make side details slightly smaller. This allows me to add little side notes that may not be vital to know, but maybe a detail that helps me understand the topic better or something I thought was interesting. I personally use this flowchart type of style when taking notes. It helps me visually and mentally connect topics and create thought bubbles. Again, if this isn't your cup of tea, you don't have to incorporate this into your note-taking, but this is my favorite way to take notes. Tip number 4, make smart color choices. Another way to easily enhance your notes both aesthetically and effectively is to incorporate colors in a thoughtful way. I'm usually a neutral kind of gal, but colors can really add personality to your notes and create patterns that you can easily recognize. It's easier if you already have a natural association with those colors. For example, for my notes, I would use colors for specific indications or topics. for the heart or cardiology, I naturally think of the color red. So for things that may affect the heart by causing arrhythmias or maybe contraindicated in heart failure, I would highlight it in red, and that would automatically make me assume it was something cardiology related. In this case, my study topic is stroke, so literally everything is related to the heart. So I've chosen red as my main highlight color instead of, let's say, yellow. For a pop of color, I've decided to use this light purple shade to mark notes related to alteplase, which is a drug used to break up clots in ischemic stroke. Because there's a version of it called cathflow used for catheter clots, and the box is this shade of purple. Although it's not entirely the same, I'm using the natural association I have with it to better tie in the notes for me through color coordination. Tip number 5, give your notes some personal space. Another easy way to make your notes a little easier on the eyes is to separate the sections. Sometimes the reading material doesn't have a cohesive flow to them that makes sense or tie everything together. Give your notes some space so that you can add in details under sections where they make more sense. It takes a lot of trial and error, and I've come to start doing this as I'm doing the note taking instead of at the end, because it really lets me pull things together bit by bit. Tip number 6, be selective. You have limited space. Choose your information wisely. My issue is that I'm always taking a little too many notes. I want to get every detail in there, but the reality of it is your notes are supposed to be a quick, condensed guide. If it's just as difficult to skim through as your original PowerPoint or document or learning material, then what was the point of even taking the notes to begin with? I typically will limit myself to 1 to 2 pages max per section or topic, because I know that's all my brain can really handle. Here are the finished notes. Just a page of pure, unadulterated stroke content. I'll probably refer back to this every now and then when I need a quick refresher, and let it guide any additional research that I may need. Although it doesn't have every dose of every drug for every situation, it's a nice quick summary that I can use in a pinch. So there you have it, folks. Those are some quick tips on how to make your notes more effective and aesthetic. Studying can be a time-consuming and grueling process, especially when it's a topic that you have very little to no interest in. But hopefully some of these tips will make it a little easier for you to make it through for the course and let you create some notes that you're more likely to get good use of. Let me know what you do to make your studying a little more bearable, and good luck on whatever exam you're studying for. Thank you for joining me on this era. Until next time, goodbye.